and welcome to Sylvan Miss Designs. Today we're going to talk some more mistake correction, but this time let's talk about what happens if you didn't catch your mistake. So again, what if you've made a mistake that you can't correct easily? So maybe your spacing is off and you accidentally goofed up your guidelines. Maybe you're trying to follow a pattern or something like a YouTube tutorial, and now you've got this extra space, or maybe things are kind of squished. What do you do now? In this situation, you're going to want to stop and think about how to alter your design to cover up these mistakes. In cases like this, the typical mandala's symmetry is going to be very much in your favor. For example, if you've drawn your guidelines and they're slightly off, the likelihood is that it's going to be on both sides or opposite ends. So if you end up with a gap, you're going to end up with that same gap on both ends of the pattern. So even though it is off, it's still going to be symmetrical. In this situation, try adding a new flourish, maybe a new walked line of dots. Throw in an extra swoosh. Think about adding in a completely new element at this point. If you have a space like this, don't be afraid to go in and add a new color. Drop in something completely different. Again, because the symmetry can be kept, really anything will work. It's just going to be duplicated on either side. Don't try too hard to keep the original pattern if there isn't room to do so. So on the opposite end of this, what if you run into a spot where there simply is not enough room and the design is going to get squashed? In these situations, you might look to shorten some walk dots so they don't continue maybe fully around the initial dot. Stop them at the top. Maybe you're going to need to change your tool size. You are going to want to try to catch this type of error a little earlier so that you can adjust the pattern all the way around. So just make sure that you're taking a step back often to look. Now, if your spacing is off, maybe your dots are just a little bit too far apart. With something like this, you can actually add in additional small dots between or in the little crooks of the next to act as a filler. Most likely, when you run into mistakes like this, it's going to be if you're following a pattern or tutorial. Maybe you didn't quite have the same tool or the same tool size as the original person had advised. And that's not a problem. Again, usually if you're running into a situation like this, it isn't going to be where just one spoke of the wheel, so to speak, is going to be off. Typically, it's going to be both sides. So use this to your advantage and don't be afraid to step away from the pattern. You absolutely can make this your own, and you do not need to worry about adding your own personality into the design. Thanks again for joining me for a Tuesday tip. Look forward to seeing you again soon.